All right. So, if you guys don't mind, you know what? We'll start with Sam. Sammy, tell us how about like when you first fought for this title, and like you're going into the cage, driving up there. What happened? You know, if anything like interesting happened or anything you
How
want
was
to
the
share.
training camp? How did you prepare all that?
Okay, well, I actually remember it pretty good for some reason.
I remember
It's
you
a
were
title.
Yeah.
you were cut as hell at 135, right?
Yep, yeah, I was
Damn.
125.
125.
You were
125.
huge too.
Yeah, so it was the 125 is a very hardcore cut for me, you know. But I remember, I think my older brother, he ended up calling me one day. He's like, "You're gonna have a shot for a title," you know what I mean? And
How old are you at that time?
oh well, you remember at all?
It's Chichicali. Oh, shit.
But yeah, I don't remember how old I was, but I remember my older brother saying, all of a sudden, he was like, "Hey, you got a title shot in Milwaukee. You want to take it?" You know what I mean? It was just like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't back out from anything. I don't
Yeah.
care who it
Yeah.
is, you know what it is. So I'm like, let's do it. You know, and I was actually in the wrong track. You know what I mean? I was doing a lot of other things besides focusing on the gym. You know what I mean? And that's the only way that he got me to fight. You know what I mean? He's like, okay, you got to fight, get going. I'm like, oh, shit, I got to go to the gym and start training. You know what I mean? So my mentality was I was never focused at the gym 100%. You know what I mean? If I was, it'd probably be a game changer for me. You
So,
know?
basically, he was your coach.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
oh yeah, definitely. So I ended up taking the fight, training hard. I remember running on the treadmills day in, day out. You know what I mean? Getting that stamina, coming to the gym here and there, like usual, never 100% dedicated. I weighed in, made weight, no problem. You know that day, and I ended up going in there, and you know my mentality in there was just. I got a very ruthless mentality, we'll just say, you know what I mean? So when I'm in the cage, I'm in the octagon, it's just you and me and all the work, you know, and the thing that I think that made me achieve more than a lot of people was I went through a little difficult lifestyle. You know, my choices, my wrong choices and stuff like that. So I had nothing left but to fight, you know, and I suffered a lot of that, you know, mentally, but, you know, I decided to fight, you know what I mean? And we went in there and we went through, I think 2-3 round battle, you know, and every time I'm a stand up type of guy, so every time I put him to the ground, I was already tired. The first minute, Duke Rufus was his coach. Duke Rufus was like, he's tired. I'm like, it's only been 1 minute. How can they tell this? You know, and I was super tired. But my mentality kept me going.
Yeah.
Like I
Okay.
said, I wasn't dedicated in the gym too much, you know. But my older brother, when he says go time, is go time.
Oh, shit,
You
yeah.
know? So.
It's only once in a lifetime you get that
Yep,
title.
yep.
So.
So I ended up, we ended up going at it, you know, and I dropped him on the ground a few times, and then he actually wrapped me up in a triangle choke.
Yeah.
So as soon as he wrapped me up in a triangle choke, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in this choke already, you know. But my body at 125, I'm very, very strong.
Yeah.
So I was able to, as he was in the choke, I was able to pick him up in the air, hold him up in the air, and slam him down. You know what I mean? And he did it again. I picked him up in the air and slammed him down again. You know,
Yeah.
and then it loosened up. You know, and then all of a sudden I got out and I'm laying on top of him. I didn't move on him for like a couple seconds. I'm like 5 seconds. I just laid on him like, wow, this is tiring.
Yeah, that's-
you know,
they takes
and
a lot
then
of strength on you.
I got off of him, pushed him off, and I remember I started back a little bit because I was tired.
Yeah.
You know, and then he looks at me, and that's when Duke Rufus was like, he's tired. So he came at me again. Let's go again. You know what I mean? Like, let's do it. So I remember that round ended, whatever, and we went through another round, and we were going at it again, and same thing. You know, I think just my fast pace. You know, so
Yeah.
I end up seeing that I hurt him. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is it. If I don't get him right now, you know, I'm gonna end up losing I'm gonna lose my stamina and I'm gonna lose this fight. So as soon as I rocked him a few. I looked at his face, and his face was just. You know, it was just showing me like, oh, he's going down. So I went and gave everything I got, 100%, you know, and just going at it. And the referee jumped in the way and was like, you're done, it's over. And I was like, wow, I won this fight. And I'm on the ground, and then after end, you know, they raised my hand, do whatever. I don't even remember what I said. They took me to the back and they gave me some oxygen because I'm like, you know, and I was like, wow, this is horrible. But at that time, I think I called La, or La called me. I was like, La, how'd you do? And La's like, I won the title too. I was like, man, I was in a triangle choke for a hell of a long time. And La's like, I was too. Yeah, and I remember watching La's video, and his eyes were all puffed out. You know,
Yeah.
I was like, wow, he got you good, you know. And when I actually watched La's video, I'm like, that dude's ripped as hell.
Yeah, he was.
He was just, wow, he should be a personal trainer or whatever the hell. You know? This guy's so
Personal.
Yeah, he's defined. His
Oh, yeah.
definition, you know.
Yeah.
I was
Definitely.
Their team didn't
was known to use some performance enhancing.
Yeah,
chemicals
yeah.
too.
But yeah, he was.
So they
ripped
didn't
up.
check. They didn't check in those levels.
Sometimes they do. So they'll check
Okay.
usually like after your fights and stuff like
Right.
that too. But I don't know.
Wow.
Wow.
That guy was.
Yeah, he was jacked.
That guy was Bruce Lee's body right there.
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
That was-
yeah, it was.
But they both were high level grapplers, you know. So like when he
Yeah.
fought Omar, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
a
Yeah.
pretty high level grappler. So.
Yeah.
I remember.
And he has like a white belt grappling experience.
And one thing that when I was fighting that fight, my older brother, I was like, man, I want to get a motorcycle,
Right.
And my older brother was like, if you win this fight, I'll pay for your damn motorcycle. I'm like, get the hell out of here. He's like, yeah, all right, shit. You know what I mean? So I hung that paper of that motorcycle, you know what I
Oh.
mean? And I ended up winning the fight, you know what I mean? I was like, well, bro, I won the fight. He's like, well, let's go get it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I ended up going.
Oh,
and
God.
It was actually a motorcycle that you probably never heard of, a CF motor it was made from China. And when I got there, I was like, why the hell is it automatic? So I ended up buying it, had loud stereo, everything. I rode it for a while. I was like, this ain't me, you know what I mean? I gotta tune it up or something. You know what I mean? But it was just the story of it. When I hung this picture, and it was like, it's a beautiful design of a bike.
Yeah.
But man, that fucker was not good.
That's funny. I think I love the part where I think everybody talks about where you got triangled in there.
Yeah.
And then you got out of it. You step back and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, let's go again. It's like that was hilarious. That was like the Kung Fu Panda. Okay, give me a break and then let's go again.
Yeah.
All right, La, let's hear your story.
Yes, a similar kind of thing, I got a friend Chad. He's like, hey, here's an opportunity. Fight a high level dude in Denver.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, dude, we're just out of Wausau, Wisconsin, training out of our basement. And I had Shirley. I taught her how to hold mitts for me. So she's holding mitts for me. And Coach Ray, my wrestling coach
Yep.
in high school, he was helping me out with some wrestling, and he would like take some beatings just to help me out. But didn't have really anybody who we had a couple guys that had some experience that would help here and there, but we didn't have any like high level coach, man.
Right.
And on paper, this dude was gonna kill me, man. High level coaches, high level team, high level teammates. Like I was basically fed to him, So
Was the expense an issue to you guys that time?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't about the money. It was
Oh,
just trying to like, hey man, let's take a big fight, man. How do we
Right.
get to the UFC? Why do we get there? This was a big one, So this was a big. We already won a couple titles, with some of the local scenes and stuff like that too. So we're like, hey, we got to step it up. So this was Ring of Fire at the time was the next step. So like in that fight, I was a co-main event. The main event winner went to the UFC. The two fights before us, those people went to the UFC, but for some reason,
You didn't-
I didn't get to
Oh
go.
my God.
So even though I beat that dude, so like the people before me went, the people after me went, but
Yeah.
I didn't get to go. It's just not my call, I guess. So
Yeah.
so everybody who went, all the champions went. It's like it's kind of like LFA now. When you win, you have a good opportunity to go to the UFC if you win like an LFA champ.
Yep.
So, but anyways, solid team on paper. It was a bad matchup, but. And I knew that too, right? But it was like, I got to test myself with better quality people because otherwise you're not going to know how far you can go or if your skills are only at a local level, So so we took the fight and they paid us to fly there. And, when we got there, I remember getting off the plane with my wife and my coach. And I looked at my wife and I'm like, someday we're going to get picked up in a limousine, and then we're looking around for the hotel bus, to take us to the bus studio. And then all the hotel buses leave and the limousine is still there. I'm like, what the heck? Like, it's like 1 a.m,
Oh,
We go
really?
and talk to the guy, and he's like Russian. And we're like, who's that for? And he kind of like messed up my name. I'm like, that's for us. So, they're treating us good, So they picked us up in a limousine. So we got to drive, and they put us in a nice suite. And it was all like, it's like you butter up a pig before the slaughter,
Oh,
so they were trying. Yeah, that's what I felt like. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, this is too good to be true. Getting picked up in a limousine and getting this nice big king suite, and I'm like, man, this is a good life right here, But
Yeah.
and then that night we went to go weigh in, and I remember just being in front of the cameras, just kind of like this, doing your thing, so they can put it up on the screen. And then him and his teammates was right there, and they were just like, "You're gonna kill this guy. You're gonna kill this guy." And I'm like, I'm like, just
Just wait.
well, yeah, oh man, let's go, So the next day, game plan, so we weighed in, and he looked pretty shredded. But the next day, when it was fight time, and when I'm walking to the ring, getting booed, right, and then I look across, and then when he comes in and I see him, I'm like, dang, man, who did they bring? Spartan? Like, ripped and shredded. I'm like,
Really?
it's like he did 1,000 push-ups before the fight. Like, he looked better now than at weigh-ins,
Wow.
And I was just like, that's not
That-
normal,
yeah,
man. That's not
ain't
normal.
right.
So usually you get a little chunky, but this guy
Right.
got more shredded. I'm like, something's not right, And plus he dyed his mohawk too. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
okay.
oh man. But anyways, so I was like, whatever. That's just, I didn't look strong, but I feel like confident in my strength too. I never really felt like anybody ever like dominated strength wise, even though I don't look ripped, right? So when I grapple with him, and I grab him like, this dude's not strong. He's like not overpowering me, So we struck a little bit, and right away, we I took him down, and then he transitioned right into a triangle. I'm like, oh my goodness, like how did I fall into this? Is so stupid,
Yeah.
So I'm stuck in this triangle, and I'm stuck in it for like 3 minutes, and it's locked in. It's not like partial. It's locked in, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. And actually, when I was in the triangle, I actually like passed out for a moment, so I fell asleep in the triangle. And I remember though, when I was in the triangle, and when I passed out, a memory of my cousin came to me, and he's like, "La, don't you come home without that belt," And that was that was the thought that came into my mind when I was in the triangle, and I was like, I woke up and I was still in the triangle. It's not like you're gonna magic moment where you're gonna get out,
Right.
but that gave me motivation to keep fighting, and it's so. And then, I just kept fighting. I lifted him up, kneed him in the ribs, kneed him in the back, stuff like that. And then he's transitioned to an armbar, almost got that. And then, he just kind of, I think his legs got tired too. But at the end of the round, I stumbled back to my corner. I remember the blood vessels in my eyes have popped, like just because it's like you're getting choked to death, you know. And I couldn't breathe. I don't know how I stayed alive, but or didn't pass out, but And he was a solid grappler. I think he was a brown belt at the time too. And I'm a low key grappler, So when he did all that, it was just. And my coach goes, "Don't take him down." Right? I'm like, that's all I know how to do, man. I can strike with him, but so you were struck again, second round. I'm just kind of like my head's still like trying to gather because I was suffocating for the last couple minutes, and then my reaction was strike, take him down. And then we took him down again. But I remembered, I learned something in that moment on how to scramble and post on his hips, and so that he couldn't catch up to me. So I was learning while I'm fighting.
Right.
And so when I blocked it and he couldn't scoot his hips, then I got into my favorite position.
Yep.
And so, I secured a arm lock with, and so once I got the Americana with the legs and I cranked on it, I didn't have to hit him. And most guys, when I get them to that point, they already tap.
Yep.
And he like didn't tap. I'm like, what? So I'm like, I'm trying to break it. And I saw his arm, like the bone like popped through the skin. Not through, but like.
It popped up. Everyone saw it.
It bumped the skin,
Right.
It made the skin move.
Yep.
And I was like, oh. And then right after that, like a couple seconds later, then he tapped. And I was just like, that's not normal, like.
No, that was not.
Not to be able to handle that much pain or just, so I feel like there was under some other substances too, but at the same time, he was a tough dude.
He was.
So, but that was it. And then,
How do you feel when you get that victory?
Man, it felt great, but the weird thing is this, right? So this is where like that title was a culminating moment in my life. I fought for a bunch of times already, and when I got that belt, like it was weird because I had another weird thought while they're putting. So now I got 8,000 people cheering my name because I'm an underdog that just pulled off a pretty neat win.
Pretty upset.
And so they're putting that belt on me, and guess what thought I had while they're doing that? Most people would be like, whoo, I was like, my mind was like, this is it?
Yeah.
This is what I fight for? Like, I feel better on a Sunday morning singing at church than this moment. And I was like, wow. So that was a big change for me. Like, I didn't really care about all the praise and all the applaud and all. Like, it didn't matter to me. And at that moment, made me not be hungry for like, because I'm like, you had people cheering you and like, this is it. Like, it was a great feeling. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a great feeling, but I was like, it was still kind of empty for me. I'm like, so I was like, it wasn't for me that the hunger to continue to keep going wasn't. It was like I didn't really care what people think anymore. Like in the end, you're fighting to get people to acknowledge you, you know, and it doesn't really care no more. It doesn't matter. So that began to change. I fought one more time after that, but then, you know, then I think once, you know, you start teaching and you start coaching and other things in my life, then plus that drive kind of started changing, then yeah.
I
So
see.
that's how things started to change a little bit.
Wow. That is amazing.
Great story.
Yeah. Did anybody celebrate when you came back? When you guys came back and won the belt, did your family celebrate?
I don't even remember.
I don't either.
Oh man.
I don't even remember. You know, it's like another day.
It's been too
It's,
long.
yeah,
Yeah, it's been too
it's,
long.
it's another day. You know, we're not like Al Bundy where, you know, he scores that touchdown and that he just lives on his past high school stuff. Like, we don't live like, you know, I barely ever I don't even think any of my guys know these stories. You know, so
I think our celebration was when I called him or he called me, and I'm like, did you win? He's like, yeah. He's like, did you win? I'm like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
That is an amazing story, man. I don't think anybody else could ever relate to that.
Yeah, well, I'm sure but it's just, it was fun just to be able to do it with your brother.
Yeah.
You know, the same night, same things, just the situation, things was it was just funny. And then, you know, the everything just fell into place where we both were able to win that night together. It was fun, but I'm halfway across the U.S., you know, so just to be coming back. But it was still good to know that, you know, you and your brother did a great job in doing and representing something well. So it was good.
Now, what happened after that? Did they want you guys to defend the belt, or did you guys just keep the belt?
Yeah.
Yes.
They wanted a rematch.
Oh, they did.
You know what I mean? So yeah, they said that they wanted another rematch with me. So, you know, with me, don't really deny everything. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it. You know, so I think we ended up doing a rematch, fought again, and we went all 5 rounds. Because I was a little bit more cautious this time.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put in a triangle choke.
Because you already
this
know
time.
it.
Yeah. So
So there was a rematch. You
there
fought
was a
him
rematch.
again.
Yeah, I did.
At the same weight.
Yep, at the same
same
weight. Yep.
Oh, I didn't see this one.
Yep.
Actually, I didn't
Yep.
see this fight. So and then you won. I'm sure.
Yep. I beat
Okay.
him again. Mhm.
Wait, you knocked him out. I think.
No, the second time I fought, we went all 5 rounds.
All
the
5 rounds?
The first time we fought was the knockout, referee
Oh.
stoppage.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have footage of that one?
I don't have any footage of any of
Oh,
them. I don't keep them.
We watch them every single day.
Well, my older brother, we used,
In our
you know, every time we fought, you know, people would try to push our fights on YouTube,
YouTube,
or whatever.
yeah.
And La's like, first thing, like, text him or something. Anybody put their stuff up, like, take it down. We don't
Yeah.
need we don't need anybody knowing our fight style.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And me, I didn't have no damn fight style, so it wouldn't matter anyways. you know?
yeah.
Well, and
Well, that's pretty
That's-
good.
that's true.
Yeah, that's pretty good idea, though. You
Yeah.
take it down.
It was more at the time, you know, because not a lot of fights were put online. So I'm like, hey, the less they know about you, then you have the element of surprise.
Yes.
Yes.
Right? And so they
Yes.
can't study you. They can't.
Yeah.
So what's the first thing you do when you know you have to fight against someone? Man, we dig through their Facebook, their Instagram. We look at their cousin, their girlfriend, their wife, like anybody that
Oh,
says
yeah.
anything. Like,
Jeez.
we're trying
You're
to find
going
their
through the
fight.
histories.
We're going through. Yeah, anybody you know that would post a link of any of your fights, we want footage because.
Right.
You know, people fight. People are, have patterns and they have habits. And so we could look at a fight, and I could watch a video 10 years, and then they can see a current fight, and you can see the same habits that they were doing 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, if this is a habit, guaranteed to come out in the fight,
Yeah.
right? And so when we study footage, like we're trying to find any and all because you're looking for habits and patterns.
Yeah.
You're looking for things that they're trying to grow on, but you're just looking for all kinds of things and anything that to give you an advantage. So if we say, hey, don't put any fights on, and you can't find any fights, then how do you plan?
Yeah.
You know, you come to fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody had called my brother and said, hey, I think my brother was going to fight somebody. And they're like, hey, send some videos of yourself to us so we know. And my brother's like, that's stupid. You sent us some videos.
Yeah. Why am I going to show you what I know? Like,
Yeah.
Right.
I'd rather show you in the ring when it's time to fight. You know.
So, Lau, about your belt, did they ever ask you to do a rematch?
Not with him. I think he was hurt, and I think because he was out for a couple years after the
Okay.
fight. They called me once to do a title fight, but I was going to school for my master's then, and
yeah, I
so
remember.
and right during that time we just started opening up the gym. So you know, my family, the master's degree, opening up the gym, and my job. So I was just like, and then try to train. Because this is a high level fight. This is not a local. So I couldn't put in the amount of work in. So I had to be like, I'm not ready yet. You know, so I took one more fight after that to try to get ready. And I was like, I can't even, like with everything that I'm doing, I can't put in enough time. You know, so part of it. Well, the reality is you can make time, right?
Yep.
But I had a professional job as a teacher, going from a master's degree, plus I'm opening up a business, and you begin coaching and teaching a lot,
Yeah.
then your time becomes, it's either I get up super early to train for a couple hours, but it's going to take from somewhere, right? And so, I had to make a decision, like, I still wanted to fight, so you still get that itch and urge, but it's just like, something's gonna fall apart. There's too many things that I'm focusing. Either I had to quit my job, but your family's secure. So like, the decisions that I made is more for security of my family too.
Yeah.
Right. And so and plus in the end, like I think about like what do I get,
In return.
in return,
Yeah.
right? And so I love what I do now, and I get to make an impact in people now. And it's worth it. Like I wouldn't trade it back. I don't think I made a mistake. So
Awesome. Thank you a lot. We are going to take another break, and then we'll come back. We're going to have probably some questions for you guys from the viewers, if there's any questions from the viewers.
Yep.
And then we'll probably ask you guys some more questions. Okay. And we'll probably see if the audience wants to ask you guys questions too.
okay,
All right.
sounds good.
All right.